Hey, it is the end of the month of February, and it is time for another monthly studio report with Broken Hammer Games for All is Fair and Dust in Air Project 2. I'm the founder, writer, CEO, a whole bunch of stuff for Broken Hammer Games here, and let's go ahead and get right into this now. It's been a busy month. Uh, big and the first initial news is, and we got the taxes filed, and so those are off. Those are out of the way. It's one of the things we like to do at least a month in advance before the deadline is get the business taxes taken care of. Uh, One positive and negative is that is for an indie dev, we don't have too much to worry about. It's kind of simple, basic. But yeah, they're at least off. They're out of the way. Unfortunately, it does do a big hit on us since we are a Wyoming founded, but California dwelling right now, so we have to pay the state of California, and the state of California is astronomical in pricing. So, lesson learned for other startups: don't found yourself in the state of California. Found out of state first, because then at least if you move, then you don't have to keep paying the state of California huge amounts of money. Uh, One unfortunate thing that being in this state has us doing. But let's go ahead and move on past that. Let's go ahead and get right into art. Despite everything going on in the state of California and all the taxes and all the prep we had to do, I mean, we actually did have another active month of art production, especially Project 2. We had quite a few backgrounds, key images get done. John's been really firing on all cylinders, just like he was at the end of last year. So we're happy to say we got a lot more done on that end. But that's not to say that we didn't do more in Raven's Prayer. Of course, we did more in Raven's Prayer. We actually had another character model that we kind of forgot. We kind of passed over him. Not that we were intending to pass over him. It's just that we got most of the major stuff out of the way, and then when we saw the list, we looked through some documents. And, oh, wait a minute, we got one more. So this character you can see in the blog report. It is actually a homage character. It's actually based on a real life person. This is the groundskeeper of Eddings Cove. And we go into a little detail in the blog on that. You can refer to that. You can see who it was based on. I actually knew the original person personally. I remember. I mean, this is his character. He would, regardless of age, do all sorts of stuff when he was groundskeeping and such, climbing out of cans. Everybody would be freaking out, like, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing? You're too old for that." And it did not matter to him. He was going to do it anyways. So there was a lot of personal encounters that led to including him in the story, and he just kind of fit the character, the personality, everything fit the mold. Somebody close to Guinevere, and you will see him in Raven's Prayer coming up. And that's the second homage character that we have in the story right now. There's going to be another one. Of course, there's going to be a lot more. Next one coming up will be Andros from the Guns of Icarus community. He might be in chapter 2 or 3. We gotta decide exactly when his scene's gonna play, but he will be in one of the early chapters, I believe. So just look forward to that. He actually passed away from a tragic accident many years ago, and it has been a lasting impact upon the Guns of Icarus players. I do remember him because he was definitely a big part of the Guns of Icarus community. He was even one of the ambassadors and such. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big one when we finally get him done. And we also had some advancements in the cityscape. We had our art meeting during the month of February. It actually went really well with Georgie. Well, Georgie wasn't able to make it, but Con and John, they rhymed together. They actually showed up, and we actually had a very good, productive meeting. I'm going to go over some teasers. Now, we're not going to tease the final one, because the final one is going to be much more complete, much more rich, much more. I mean, if you've seen how we did the Mole Cityscape and the others, I mean, Khan is attention to detail. He just goes nuts on it. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to that now, and I'm going to show you some teasers of the work that has happened on the Cityscape. Now, of course, we have a whole bunch more images to show today, but let's go ahead and get most of this in view. Now, this was a early sketch that came out of the meeting. And as you can see, we have, we're doing a terrace hill with Eddings Cove. It's going to be up there, and we've already teased this before in the past, but now the different sides of the city of the cove are coming out. And this was a very early, there were some things we had to update with, and as we go into image 2, he did a colorized version, and this was a little bit more land than we originally intended for there to be. So again, con, we worked along a bit and we updated, and then it got into this. We wanted to keep that bridge going across there. I figured that would be a very iconic thing to do, and now the city's starting to elevate a bit more. And then finally, it led into, this is more of a populated sketch. We have more of the city, the little buildings coming together, a lot of the other little finer details. There's some farming plots around here because there is a lot of farming in the area that takes place. So this is all coming together. As you can see, Eddings Cove is, this is our version of Eddings Cove. This is nothing that Muse ever has told us. I mean, Muse never kind of detailed this town. And we're going to be spending a lot of time in Eddings Cove. This is Guinevere's hometown. This is just, of course, this is just a sketch phase right now. We're still, Con is still working on the rest of it. Then actually, moving on from that, I am going to share some things from Project 2 because John I actually permitted him to share one of these for his portfolio to go ahead and start using it because it wasn't an image we were going to use. But I'm going to share the different variants of it since he's already shared it. It's already out there. So let me just show you what else he was capable of in the image. This is an afternoon variant of the image he was working on. His background image, of course. It's more of a lavish party atmosphere in a time period that's a little bit more ancient. And then we also have a night version. And see how he changed the colors. He added some lighting effects. And it kind of made the image a lot richer. His skills are definitely improving all around a lot of these images, and we're continuing to work with him. He's continuing to learn from Ingrid quite a bit. She's been helping him a lot on that perfecting. And we go ahead and switch this off. So that's going to continue probably more into the month of March. We're hoping we can get the rest of the cityscape done. Georgie is shifting now production onto expressions, and because what we do is we have Winks do the first initial set of expressions, and Georgie comes along and he's going to see if there's anything he wants to touch up, anything that maybe needs to be adjusted a little bit. So he's going to be working, shifting full on into that. Now, that is going to be probably the last of our major art book related items for Raven's Prayer. So we're now coming down into the music area. That's going to be probably looked into a little bit more during the month of March into April. We may even have, we're going to reach out to Sean again on that. We're going to reach out to Gimmon and see where they're at right now and see what we can get done. Worst case, we will be looking at bringing a new musician into the project, but that will probably be, if we do something like that, it's going to be going closer into May or so, might as early as April. But that's about it on there. Project 2, of course, is going to continue during this time. I've had some chats with Georgie on it and where we're at on Dust and Air, Raven's Prayer, and give or take, because we're building a lot of the activity takes place in Eddings Cove, but it is going to be elsewhere in the Baronies. So, but the amount of backgrounds that we're going to utilize is going to be more in Eddings Cove. So we're actually making some pretty good progress for the rest of the story right now. So we're not, I would say, give or take, I told him an estimate around 20%, give or take, where we're at on the backgrounds and what can flesh out the rest of the story and what moves on to other stories too. So that's actually a pretty decent number. It's going to go up once the cityscape is done, because there's the cityscape and then there's 2 more images related to it. But once those are done, it can flesh out the rest of the backgrounds, and we can really speed up a few of those areas. So we're looking forward to that getting done, and that could jump a lot of this production ahead very fast once the cityscape is done. So yeah, only other thing, there will be a little break, a hiatus for Project 2 during the month of March, just because the amount of money that's gone out for the taxes and stuff. It is a big enough hit that we have to kind of just, okay, let's hold off a moment, and we'll start back up a little bit once we have more funding coming in on that. It's still going to be a busy month no matter what we do. A lot of activity, a lot of stuff going on. We will be looking at bringing a little bit more of Raven's Prayer into the engine and really hashing out some other aspects of that soon. There's a lot of activity going into this year, so look forward to it. There is also some other rumblings that we're considering on ways to expand our website and ways to kind of start some new interesting ventures to kind of generate more buzz, more excitement around Dust and Air and some of our other projects that are happening. But those we won't go into until probably maybe another month or two. So we'll see how that's going to turn out. We're talking right now. We're discussing a lot of things. We want to kind of spice things up as we're trying to work on Dust and Air and Project 2. So that's it for today. Thanks for joining me, and see you in the skies.